Welcome back, everybody, to another review show. Not just any review show, but unpopular reviews, bad movie that we love month. And this is my movie. I don't know if you loved it or you hate it. Shit, half the time I know if I loved it or I hate it. But hey, here it is right here. It is Who's Your Caddy? We'll be right back, y'all. Let's get ready to watch this movie, shall we?
At Carolina Pines, the membership is reserved. But they're about to meet a man.
I'm in search of an application, sir.
How are you with a shovel?
Shovel?
Did he call you a Hold it! This is a very exclusive club.
Who doesn't take no for an answer.
Oh! What the hell are you doing on my golf course?
Shooting a music video.
You see that line? It represents the property line of that estate. Guess who closed escrow yesterday?
Who's your caddy?
And we are here. I am one of your hosts this evening, Mike Knox. I'm also joined by the executive consultant as well as the HNIC. What's going on, fellas?
How are you?
I'm doing just fine on this Thursday night. It took us 3 weeks to get here, but we're here. I saw this movie 3 weeks ago. I took it to watch it again today, and now we're going to talk about it today. So, again, this movie is exactly what it sounds like. Who's Your Caddy? Starring Big Boy from Outkast, which was just voted. Not my pick. I'd have had him second. But the greatest rap group of all time above the Wu-Tang Clan is denied her membership to an exclusive Carolina club. And he said, you know what? If I can't get in, I'm going to buy my way in. So he buys the estate, being a very smart, crass businessman, a hip-hop mogul. And this is where the movie takes place. And I got to tell you, I'm going to start with the executive consultant. We talked about movies that people hate that we love. Your first pick was Date Movie, and I couldn't understand why you like that movie so damn much until I started watching Who's Your Caddy? And I watched this movie, and I wondered if anybody besides me would find the things in this movie hilarious, as Vic would say. I was hoping one of you gentlemen would do so. So I'm going to start with your executive consultant. Who's Your Caddy? Your thoughts about this brilliant hip-hop mogul of a movie?
Well, I have to say, look at this. Look at this great film starring Big Boy. I like The Way You Move. It's my favorite Big Boy song. And that's a reason for it, because it's a party song. This movie's a party movie, right? Where the party should have ended. Probably after a minute. I was not happy with this movie, Mike. I have to tell you, I wish I saw this movie sooner. As Vic would say, I have regrets. Here's my regret. I did not see this movie sooner. Here's my other regret. I saw this movie at all, right? You sat here a couple of weeks ago and you said something to the exec consultant because he enjoyed Date Movie. Date Movie had him in tears. He was laughing. He was crying. He was entertained. You then proceed to have me watch Who's Your Caddy, a movie I've never heard of, and I can see why I've never heard of it. Because everybody who's seen this movie never admits publicly that they've seen this movie for a good darn reason. Sherri was the only thing that was somewhat entertaining in this movie. Even she annoyed the hell out of me. It's hard for me. Oh, no, not just that. It was somebody else. I can't remember her name right now, but Big Boy's mom in this movie was very entertaining to me. But she's always entertained everything she does. She's very charismatic. Thank God she was in that movie, because otherwise than that, Mike, you and I's friendship would be on the line right now. I just want to let you know that. HNIC, what you got for me?
Jenifer Lewis is great in everything she does, but
I agree.
Hey, what happened there? Okay.
Let me be the first to disagree. I do not like her in everything. Sometimes her off-screen personality seems to come on screen, and I can't tell if she's acting or not. And I think she's just being true to life. And sometimes for me, that's a little bit too much. I will agree with Chris and say this, that Sherri Shepherd was the saving grace of this movie. She's very, very funny. I don't think she gets enough credit for how funny she is. But this isn't the Sherri Shepherd biopic starring Sherri Shepherd. This is Who's My Caddy. And this movie was a drag. Now, let me just say the theme of this month is bad movies we love. And so as long as Mike loves this movie and he's willing to prove it to my satisfaction, he may be in the running for the trophy for this month's topic, okay? This is by far better than last pick, which was Chris called it.
Date movie.
I called it Eyelids. Yeah, date movie. I'm sorry. I called it Eyelids because it was absolutely trash. There was no funny parts in it whatsoever. But this one, it was interesting because instead of laughing at the movie, I was laughing at myself and my people because I said, who signed these checks over to them and did they read the script at all? Because there was some bigotry going on in this movie, left and right. Shout out to Andy Milonakis, who was the second funniest person in this movie. I forget that he had a show on MTV. For those of you too young, please go ahead and read what we used to call books and watch programs that started before the MCU, and you can learn about the world and what happened. But he used to have a show, and it was very entertaining and engaging, and you could see that in this. He reminded me actually of Jonah Hill's character. If anybody's seen the movie called Forgetting Sarah Marshall, I think that's what 2010, 2012, something like that.
I'm a big fan of Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah, okay, so you know the character that I'm talking about, Jonah Hill, and he works down at the resort, and it very much reminded me of Jonah Hill's character, except I actually like Jonah Hill's character more, and that's because I enjoyed that movie more. But Andy did a great job in this movie, given what the script was and what he was supposed to do with it. That MVP, though, goes to Sherri Shepherd, who made the movie. That being said, there are some tropes that I'll get to later in my final thoughts. But did I laugh in this movie? Yeah, I did. I laughed and I cried. I cried because I was so happy I didn't pay for this movie. But also I cried because I said, my people, we've not changed. I thought this was brought to you by those same people who brought to you the BET Awards this year and every year for the last I don't know how many years. Shout out to those who are writing the checks and have the money to do so and get Black people to show up in anything. Shout out to them. Shout out to malt liquor, which I'm sure was flying, and also weed that they weren't growing themselves and yet supporting in their purchase of it. But I'll save my final thoughts for later. Mike, I didn't know if you had any more to say about that.
I wasn't going to go there about the EBT Awards as they've been referred to as.
That's a good one.
But yeah. I would say this for someone who think they have been dog poo for the last 10 years as well.
Okay.
I thought for what it was, I've seen a lot worse on that award show. You know what I mean? So as
I've seen a lot worse also.
As I'm watching
Who's Your Caddy is one of them.
Well, you picked Date Movie, which literally had a couple of chuckles. I openly laughed out loud at this film. I'm sorry. Big Boy to me, a.k.a. C-Note in this movie. Okay. How can you? James Avery's in this movie. Like we talk about the movie comparison between.
Who's in this movie?
James Avery.
Shredder was in this movie.
Yeah, you didn't see him. He was one. He was the guy that.
Yeah. I saw.
Also,
I didn't realize it was him today.
Faizon Love's in this movie. Terry Chen's in this movie. Y'all are praising Sherri Shepherd. I think she has been funny in nothing except for this movie.
Really?
I am not a fan of Sherri Shepherd at all. I forgot she was in the movie, so I started watching this film. And as I'm watching this movie again, it's bad movies that we love. I agree with you, Candy. At first.
I agree with you, Candy. This is Charmaine on Twitch. I am sorry. I am late. I did not like the movie. That means I'm sorry I'm late, so I was not showing up on time to tell you how much I disliked this movie. I agree with you, Charmaine.
Well, I'm going to put you in the corner and put you on timeout while I finish my beautiful soliloquy of a funny movie that's a lot better than Date Movie. You know why? I'll tell you one reason why it's better than Date Movie. One and one reason only, and I hope that H and IC can agree with me. They were black. Okay? They were black people in this movie compared to the other one.
There's black people in Date Movie too.
Yeah, not nobody cared about, I believe it was said that Eddie Griffin even nailed this one in that movie.
I'm sorry. You said
Terry Chu, Faizon Love, this movie had everything about, my man got Caddyshack in the background. Clearly someone wanted to be Caddyshack, but no one can be Caddyshack.
You know why he has Caddyshack in the background? Because he rather watch this white movie than this damn black movie.
Well, Caddyshack is a classic.
Okay.
No movie anyone's picking here is a classic. Okay? It's movies that
I beg to differ.
Hey, This is a double header episode.
Yeah,
wait till the next episode.
Right. It's better than what we're going to watch next. I'll tell you that to me. By leaps and bounds. But I thought this movie had everything that the early 2000s had. It was like it was stupid executives at Def Jam saying, "Here go $1 million. Go make something." And don't get me wrong, there's nothing good in this movie, but for some reason I just laughed.
Classic formula.
When Showboat himself from House Party comes on the scene at the country club.
We did that one, Charmaine. I'm sorry, Mike. Charmaine, if you go back a year ago, we reviewed that movie. It's called The Winter Soldier. We did that one.
Whoa.
I thought it was
Winter Soldier.
What's that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger when he's trying to get the kids?
It's a top 5 Marvel movie.
Mike, I stand by my statement. It's called The Little Princess.
What is that? What's that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger? He's trying to get that kid that toy.
Oh yeah.
Huh?
With Sinbad?
With Sinbad. Yeah.
No, with the Christmas movie.
It was right.
Sinbad was in it.
Yeah, Sinbad was. What's that? That's not Jingle All the Way, is it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Little Princess.
This movie had tits and ass, hip hop. And the word we use today, it did give me a cringe moment because I didn't remember the movie, and it was hard. I was trying to pick something.
That little kid kissing.
No, when the white kid came out and said, "What up, Martin?" He said it so naturally, and then the principal from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, if you do not know, from Howard the Duck as well, comes and says, "I am not sure," and I'm like, "Whoa, okay," but that's what we live in. So listen, we have no commercials in here, sir. Okay, so let's
wait a minute. We do though, actually, because coming up soon, we're going to be reviewing.
Good morning, it's great to stay up late. Good morning to you.
I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. What a glorious feel, and I'm happy again.
Stay tuned for
one night only. For one night only.
You know what? It's so funny. I was just recently in New York, and a few of us, we were doing karaoke, and I don't know why I did not think about singing that song. So when I get to New York again in October, and this guy's supposed to go with me, but when I go up to New York in October, I'm singing that song.
Well, people, we are here because we had a category that was picked this month. Movies that suck that we love, or bad movies that we love. And this is the second movie. I hated Date movie, but then I hate this movie. I would give this movie a complete thumbs up because, damn it, I laughed so hard, I made my wife watch it again. And she laughed. So that let me know, damn it, she's been with me for 25 years. I'm rubbing off on her. Maybe it wasn't that funny after all. But still, I gave it a thumbs up. I did. I literally laughed out loud at this movie. I'm not sure if it was comical genius or just plain stupid. I mean, hell, I'm someone who watches all of Danny McBride's HBO shows and think they're all amazing. Okay, so if I could watch the Royal Gemstones, if I could watch Eastbound and Down, if I could watch Vice Principals, I can watch Who's Your Caddy. Thumbs up for me, but you got HNIC. I'm not a rapper.
Well, first, I'm going to quote Eastbound and Down. I could feel it in my plums that this movie was trash. Now, to go back to something else that Mr. Knox said, he said it had TNA in this, to quote the wrestling fans that we have of the show. Shout out to you, 200 people watching live right now. You should be here with them. But BET, which we've been talking about, or EBT.
The EBT Awards.
I won't say the other thing because it'll get us kicked off of YouTube because I don't know who owns it, YouTube right now. But EBT/BET/ no black people. I mean, I heard that Tyler Perry bought BET, so I don't know if that's true or not. He just acquired it, but I don't know. But anyway, we'll see what black man is the villain of his next piece on BET. In any event, in the early 2000s, they used to have a segment where they would show X-rated videos, semi-X-rated videos, before the internet was king on BET. And I forget the programming.
BET after dark or at the cuts or something?
After something, but was I forget the thing. Yeah, it was basically the Toonami version of BET when they had, Nelly's Tip Drill was always playing on that. But shout out to those who are old enough to remember that era of life.
BET Uncut.
uncut. There you go. On Earth and everything like that. Listen, I'm gonna give it to Sherri Shepherd. I said a shout out to Andy Milonakis, but Sherri Shepherd wins it. She was funny. Also, she had a small part in Soul Plane. I believe that was opposite Monique. I think that was her and Monique. They were the TSA agents, right?
I think you're right.
But in this one, I think she stole the show. The only problem, as I mentioned it earlier, was, and that's why I always say, all joking aside, let me go back to a little seriousness. As Chris used to say, let me bring some dignity back to UPRE. When I see this, and there was another movie that recently came out, I do plan on seeing it, called The Blackening. And I always say to myself, you know, when these movies come out, who writes these movies? In the case of The Blackening, yes, it's a person who looks like me, but I need to do a little bit more research, right? We got some hugs and kisses to Mike, who's a bestie apparently, and Chris, somebody saying that you need some new glasses, and also thumbs down to this entire movie. This is what Charmaine is saying in the audience right there.
Said Charmaine.
But you know, I have to ask myself who wrote this, because some of the depictions are crazy. Now, when I watched this, I did have some images in my mind, because there are points when Sherri Shepherd is just SAing random guys throughout this movie. Now, I know this is early 2000s, and I'm sure that women have been, you know, treated badly throughout the centuries, and all men are guilty. If you don't believe me, just ask one of our co-hosts, E. But she's not here tonight, so in her honor, oh, okay. In her honor, I don't know what Chris just said. I'll
So she called out.
Oh, okay. Well, she's not here tonight. So in her honor, you know, I'm just gonna highlight these things. But the depiction of her was it reminded me of a stereotype, and I'm just gonna put it on the screen. If you get it, you get it. Okay. This rough and tumble Black woman, you know what I mean? And we've seen this in time going by, and we see it differently now. You know, now she's not mammy. But she's depicted in different ways. And when you see Black women depicted like this in TV, we joke about BET, but there's a truthfulness underlying all of that. That does damage. All joking aside, it does damage. And especially when they get us to laugh at it, it does even more damage, because then it becomes insidious. Also, the trio or quad, depending on how many were in the scene at times, reminded me of some of these people. This is a scene from Dumbo, obviously. And if you've ever seen Dumbo, you know exactly where I'm going with that. And so it was hard for me, because it was taking me out of the movie. Did I enjoy it more than Date Night or Date Movie? That wasn't a joke, but yes, I did. I laughed more at it. But again, there goes the insidiousness of it. I do believe that Mike liked it, and that is the litmus test of this month's theme. So I have to give this movie a thumbs up, but I will point out those things as I did in all fairness.
Didn't they remove that part from Dumbo?
They may have, but it would.
I definitely think they removed it from live action.
One of the things that they removed, from live action.
Yeah. Man. So, Who's Your Caddy? No, but Who's Your Caddy is like a movie I'm watching, and I'm like, Who's Your Caddy reminds me of Who's Your Daddy, right? That's what it's a play off of, right? And I feel like when I watch this movie, I get sunned, right? Because how the hell did I get roped into watching this damn movie? Why would you do this to me, right? Sherri was a little entertaining. The other person, I can't remember her name right now, I found to be very, very interesting.
Tamala Jones?
No.
He's talking about a big boy's mom in this movie.
Oh, Jenifer Lewis.
I find her to be very interesting. Like I said, I find her to steal any scene that she's in. But I everything besides that, and Sherri was limited entertainment, but everything besides that just felt flat to me. I'm not a fan of Faizon Love.
I typically am not.
I'm not a fan of his humor. It's not funny to me. I'm not a fan of him just farting. I never was a big fart joke guy, right? This guy was in Hitch. He was funny in Hitch. This guy's not as funny in this movie, right? Because you were contracted to do something, you couldn't even do it right. But at the end of the day, this is the criteria. Did I enjoy it better than the Batman? The answer is no. It gets a thumbs down for me.
Wow.
I'd rather watch the Batman
Mike, that's an insult to you. You know that, right?
I'd rather watch the Batman than this shit again.
Comedy's subjective. I mean, he had us watch state movies, so it's okay.
I will tell you, I will pull the curtains behind the scenes where the hell the saying is. You know, I do this a lot. Mike and I talk almost every day. I've been avoiding his ass because of this. I went to Atlanta with him. I dropped his ass off, and I never looked back because I was so mad.
Drop me off?
Well, on the flight, I dropped your ass off, and I never looked back because I was so mad at him for making me watch Who's Your Caddy. I almost missed my flight because I was so upset. I don't even want to go to Atlanta anymore. Thumbs down for me.
Well, there it is, people. Who's Your Caddy? Comment below. Let us know, and thanks for tuning in. But stay tuned as we got a double header coming up because date movie, Who's Your Caddy? And now Killer Clowns. Oh hell, we be back,
right,
y'all. Check us out in a minute. We be right back. Give us 10-15 minutes, y'all. Killer Clowns up next. Peace.
Good morning, good morning. It's great to stay up late. Good morning to you.